You could be my luck. Even in a hurricane of frowns, I know that we'll be safe and sound. We're safe and sound.
So today we're doing a review on the Honda Hru216 after 18 months of use. So I bought this mower in May 2020. So first ever self-propelled mower, so I'm not exactly used to them or anything like that. It was my second Honda, as you already had a 196 push mower, but this thing is just a whole world different. So let's go through it and I'll just do a review on features obviously of it, and then at the end I'll do how I found it. So I'll start with work our way from this end to that end. We'll just go through everything, babe. So you press this yellow button down, push the whole lever in, and it's engaged. So that means the blades will be spinning, and if you let go, they obviously turn off. Now this lever here is your self-propelled, so if you want to drive the mower without the blades on, you just go boom, and it will drive without the blades, or boom, boom, in the other hand to push the drive in. So that's how that works. Springs, cables. Now, every now and then this will need a little tension, so make sure you tension that as needed. Yeah. This thing here is pretty beefy. I've smashed it into a few fences and gates and all sorts of things, and it's all right, scratched up, but look, it's rock solid and it's built very well, which is quite impressive. Now down here, we've got your throttle, so you stop, slow, like a nice idle, fast, a little bit more, and then choke. So choke is to start, and after you choke it and just get it running, it will run good. You don't really need choke once it's warm. This is your gears, so your first gear, which is slow, obviously. Second gear is a bit faster, so I usually cut out, and then there's third gear, which is transport or quick cut if you're just doing nipping the tips or something or doing a large area. The gearbox on these you will need to adjust the cables every now and then. I've had to adjust mine once, as they will get a bit, how do you explain it, a bit loose, and then it won't drive as well, or it will sort of struggle to engage. So you'll hear it sort of click and half engage. So a lot of people sort of think it's the gearbox is actually blown, but in a way it's just because the cable isn't fully pulling it enough to give it full power. Yeah, so we'll move down. This is the Handlebars Mount. It's quite a good design, quite beefy, so they can't physically go down here anymore, which is good in the sense that it's solid, but I have found sometimes, and it's not a big deal, but if you do need to go into trampolines or anything like that, it is nice to fold the handle down and you can fit the mower sort of underneath, if that makes sense, but you can't really do it with this. So it's just your typical thumb screw, and you can undo it like that, and you can obviously fold the whole thing over. One problem that I have had with this is I do find that the handles will vibrate a bit, and then I'll end up coming over to finding this loose. I have once before I noticed that the whole thing fell off and I lost it in someone's yard and I had to go and find it. But now I just tighten it every couple jobs. But let me know if you have a similar thing. I don't know if it's vibration or something like that, but yeah, it is a bit annoying. So it's pretty beefy design here, and this does bolt into here, which is good. So I like that. It's not going anywhere. What else? Cable routing through here, which is nice. It's zip tied on, and looks like the zip tie here must have come off, so I'll have to chuck something on there. But it is good having some slack in them, because if you do snag it on something, or if it does, you don't want to fold the handles down, it's obviously going to stretch them more, so you need to have some slack. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So this is your rear flap, and this is the 70 litre Dacron catcher, whatever it is. I used to be using the I don't know what you'd call it, the aftermarket one, which was good, but I have noticed, and this is a benefit in a way, it does breathe a lot more as it's meshed the whole way around, which is great in wet conditions or anything like that. But the thing is, in summer I just find it so dusty, so I do like the fact that this one doesn't breathe as much in that sense. So I've switched it over now just for summer, and then I might go back to the other one, or even keep the other one for when it's wet maybe, so you can switch between it depending on conditions. It's a good build. It's a lot better quality than the other one, but then again, it's like 180 for a genuine one, so there is a price difference. But it's got plastic on the bottom, so what I do like is you can rest it down without wearing holes in it. And it doesn't have that on the top, so this is what happens when you rest this part of the catcher on like concrete. When it's full, it will wear through, and eventually that'll just rip and wreck the whole lot. So try not to do that. I regret that one, and I've learnt from that, and I don't do that anymore, but we're all going to learn someday anyway. So yeah, I just thought I'll hopefully save you guys the trouble. That's the handle for it. It's got some good size to it. You do have to wash these out every now and then. I know some people do prefer the hard ones because they don't clog as much, but look, personally I actually prefer the mesh one, because it's just a lot smaller and more compact, and yeah, so this just slots on here and like this, like that. So it hooks around there, which is a good design. It's not going to break, very durable. Occasionally you will have it sort of slip like that, but you should notice it hanging a little bit, so I just re-plop it back on there. This chute design is a good design, so have a look at this. It gives you just enough room to let it sort of poop out the back, which is great in the sense it doesn't destroy your legs, but you don't get a nice cut because it's just pooping lumps out, and it will tend to clog a bit more if it is quite long. So what I end up doing, and some other guys end up doing as well, is we end up strapping it up like that to the right level, to the point we don't get hit, but it lets it discharge, because otherwise it just clogs. So it's not actually a half chute. I'd say it's more like a 2/3 sort of chute. It will clog if you really push it, but look, it's not something I'd say it's a big issue with it, as in it clogs all the time, which it definitely doesn't. So no real problems there. It catches fantastic. It's got a lot of lift. It's not afraid of even long grass, as long as you take it easy and don't, go third gear into knee-high grass with the catcher on. You shouldn't have any problems. In there, it's got swing back blades. Now those ones are a bit stuffed up. I've just got the angle grinder out and given them a quick sharpen, but they're good. I run 4 high lifts. I think it comes standard with 2 lows and 2 highs, but I switch to 4 highs, as I do mainly catch, so it just gives a bit better airflow. It's got a striping flap as well, which is nice. I mean, I can't say I don't know the difference it makes, but it's there, I guess. So nice feature. Pull start, which is mounted here, which is great for convenience, because if I'm here, I just go bang, or choke bang first, then bang on the throttle and the pull start, and then you're all good to go. That goes back down here, obviously, nuke your starter and everything else. So working my way down here now, we've got the wheels. These wheels aren't great, to be honest. Like, that's what's left of the tread after probably, I don't know, a year, and I only work 1 to 2 days a week, so that gives you an idea of what the tread quality's like. It does lose a little bit of traction, but it's not terrible. So I'll have to replace them shortly. What else? This is where the gearbox drive shaft goes from the engine into the gearbox, which is in here. That's why these cables run through there. It's got a good sized fuel tank. It's a very fuel efficient machine. So you usually get about 10 jobs out of it, average residential jobs. That's just maintained 2 to 3 week jobs. I got my little mowing contractor sticker there to shout out to you guys on the mowing page. Air filters in here. This model doesn't have a snorkel, which it does make a difference, I'll be honest. But as long as you're keeping on top of it every 2 weeks on, say, in a commercial scene, like you're mowing every day, if you check it every 2 weeks, you shouldn't have any issues. You just unscrew it, obviously, pull the air cleaner out, pull the cover bit off, wash that in some warm water, dry it out, put some oil on it, chuck it back on, and just clean up any mess in there around the bottom, and you should be all good. I use 91 unleaded, so anything over 91, I think you'll be fine. This is a big part of the machine that I guess not many people talk on, so I think I'll just talk on it quickly. When you buy these machines new, they do rev at standard at about, I think it's 2900, which it does really lack power, and you can hear a major difference. So in my previous review I did about a year ago, you can hear that it wasn't obviously revving as high as it is at the moment, and that's because I've had to trick it up a little bit just to get that better performance. So there's a spring in there. I don't know if you can sort of see it. Yeah, you won't be able to see it, but there's 4 holes here. Oh, you might be able, there you go. So you can see the green at the top is the standard setting from factory, and the bottom one is where we've moved the spring. And what that does is increase the engine RPM to around 3500, and then it performs much better. So this engine is spec'd to run at 3600, so you shouldn't have any issues, obviously, with the engine. What else? Fuel cutoff valve here. I never ever use that. I don't know, there's not much point to that in my opinion, but I guess if you're storing for a long period of time, it could come in handy. Obviously the height adjuster, it's a single point. I'll show you around the other end. We've got this big bull bar on the front here, so this is great if you slam the thing into a tree or a fence. You're not going to come dint up and crack the deck, or maybe smash into the valve cover or anything like that. And spark plug as well, which is good. The engine overall, I wouldn't say it's super powerful, but it definitely has the power to get the job done. Like, this mower will mow pretty much anything. It's not the best mower at any one category, but it's a very solid overall performer, and it's built like a tank, which is really good. So moving around to this side here, we've got the Oil, this model holds 600, I think, mils of oil. So I think it's 10W30. So that's all you need. And then when you do check it, this is important. When you check the dipstick amount, make sure you don't screw it in, because this model isn't a screw in. So you could get the wrong reading, which isn't good with oil. Sorry, the camera, guys, Jesus. As the sticker says, it is mulch and catch. So here's your height adjuster. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 settings, which you can select. So it's currently on number 4, which is what I've cut my yard on. Don't believe me, I haven't done any trimming, so it does look pretty average, but it's just a quick mow and then I'll trim later. Yeah, so bolts on here, obviously, like the other side. The height adjuster is good. I have noticed that this is wobbling, so I think I must have broken something off, but it's not going to come off and it doesn't affect the performance in any way, so that doesn't really bother me too much. It doesn't slip or anything, in the sense that it won't move down if you jump, sort of thing, as long as it's in correctly. The mower is a little heavy, so it is difficult to get it up to the highest setting. You've sort of got to lift the handlebar a little bit and sort of pull it. So that's what I found. But yeah, I'd say it's a good range of heights. You've got plenty of variety, I guess. You've got a nice high setting, a nice low setting. I don't know if you want to go much lower than that, realistically. Yeah, so the deck's good. Like, it's very robust. It's, you know, it doesn't rust, obviously. I think it's some aluminium composite material, which is good. Got like a wear strip, which is good, because if you hit like a fence or some bricks or something, that will take the brunt of the damage instead of the actual cutting surface. So it's nice that they've thought that out. I believe this model also has a wash port, the yellow thing on it over there. I've never used it. I mean, I just flip the mower over, air filter up, and just scrape out what's underneath. So it doesn't really bother me too much. So I think that's about it, really. I'll go through and summarize what I think the pros and cons, and then my ultimate opinion on it. So pros, obviously, it's built quite well. It's got ample power to do pretty much anything. It catches really well. It mulches pretty good, considering it is a 2-in or 3-in-1 mower. Has rear discharge capability. It has a very good engine in the sense that it's easy to keep serviced, and it's simple, and it's very popular. So there's a lot of surplus of parts and things like that. Now, as far as the cons, I would say this is quite jiggly sometimes when this does vibrate, and I don't know if that's a problem I'm only having or if it's other people as well. It also seems my handles have bent. I don't know if that's normal for other people, but yeah, let me know if you've got any experience with that. What else? It will clog if you do go through really thick wet grass, but any mower is going to clog through that. So I guess that's not really a con. The wheels are, I won't say cheap, but you do go through them very quickly, and they aren't cheap either, so that's probably another sort of negative. But yeah, like, aside from that, I can't really think of anything else to say about it. I wouldn't say it's a bad mower in any way. Like, I would definitely buy another one. Well, actually, yeah, you guys will have to wait and see about that. But yeah, like, it's been really, really good. I wouldn't change it in any way, like, in the sense that I definitely wouldn't switch this mower out for anything else. It's been an absolute game changer for me, enabling me not to have to be, you know, push mowing everything and really tiring myself out. It will fit anywhere, really. Like, this mower will fit pretty much all places, so that's good. It is reasonably, like, it's not light. I think it's 53 kilos, but at the same time, you do get used to it. And I wouldn't say I have any troubles mowing with it in the sense of maneuvering it. It's just a bit of practice. So if you guys want to see, I could maybe make a video on how I like maneuver it and turn it, and what I found to be the most easy way to do that. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, I guess I could try and make something. I'm not an absolute pro by any means, but I think I've worked out how to use it reasonably well. So if you guys want to see that, feel free to let me know, and I'll have to have a look at making something like that. Alrighty guys, well, that's my review. Love the machine, would highly recommend anyone interested to go and have a look at one, or speak to someone who's got one. And if you've got any questions, feel free to message me, and I hope I can help. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.